Hey everyone, I'm Laura Gadenik. I'm an astrologer and a therapist, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of November 4th through the 17th, 2024. So we just made it through one of the most intense weeks, probably of this year. We had Mercury opposite Uranus last Tuesday. Mercury's been in Scorpio, or was in Scorpio, and that might have had you having surprising conversations, kind of mental turnarounds, or unexpected changes. You might have had technology mishaps or car problems. I know I got a flat tire and I had to ask for rides for 2 days. So it could have been kind of like a mental whirlwind, and also just where you had to kind of make decisions on the fly, and you might have had surprising conversations. And then we had Mars in Cancer in making an opposition to Pluto, and Mars does not like being in Cancer. It brings up really sensitive stuff that's really hard and emotional to talk about, but Mars is like, we got to face this, we got to say it, we got to get uncomfortable, and Cancer does not like being uncomfortable. So Mars opposite Pluto might have had extreme power struggles. You might have had intense anger or rage or grief about something. You might have had a breakthrough about something needed to end or change or be transformed. There could have been conflicts, whether internal or external. And if this wasn't happening to you in your life, you might have noticed this in people's lives around you, friends, family, even, there could have been some accidents. Mars opposite Pluto is challenging. It's not easy. So that is not the first time that Mars is going to oppose Pluto. There's going to be 2 more times. So this is really just thinking about it as chapter 1 in a 3-part series. The next pass is going to be January 3rd. Mars will be in Leo, making an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. And then the third one is, I think it's April 27th. And that'll again be with Mars in Leo opposing Pluto. So, the transformations are still underway. The conflicts, intense action needing to be taken, severing, cutting away, cutting off what is toxic or poisonous. That's what I think of. Pluto can often represent things that are lurking beneath the surface that we didn't know about, or that was unclear or murky, or something that was hiding. And I think about Mars opposing Pluto as kind of we're becoming aware of what that stuff is. And then Mars is nope, I'm not dealing with this. This is toxic. I'm cutting this out of my life, or this has to change. Mars will not people please. Mars will not go along with. Mars will not continue on for the sake of peace. So Mars is a planet about conflict and war and severing and independence and facing head on things that are uncomfortable. So that was the energy this last weekend. Mars is now in Leo from November 3rd today until January 6th. So we have a little bit of a different energy. Mars in Cancer is kind of tiptoey, I don't want to talk about this because it's too sensitive, or I don't want to hurt your feelings. And of course, Mars is a planet that's no, we have to face this. We have to talk about this. We have to do something different. And in Cancer, it's been oh, but I'm scared. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to hurt my feelings. What do we do? So there's been a lot of maybe tiptoeing, or walking on eggshells, or not saying the thing with Mars in Cancer that kind of came to a head. And Mars in Leo is a lot more confident, a lot more straightforward, a lot more courageous. So this energy is going to be more, I would say, easier to manage. Mars will head back into Cancer after January 6th, where it will continue its retrograde. So we're not done with Mars in Cancer, but for now we're doing Mars in Leo, which is a lot more straightforward. Just say it how it is, confident, direct, assertive, not scared. So, I just wanted to kind of give that preface. So, Monday, today, November 4th, the sun makes a trine to Saturn. This might feel a bit stabilizing after all the chaos of the last week, and can help with focus and getting things done, being productive, stabilizing things. And then really this week is kind of quiet. There's not that much going on until Saturday the 9th. We have Venus making a square to Neptune. Venus is a planet about love, beauty, relationships, pleasure, our relationship to pleasure. Neptune is the dream, the hope, the illusion. When in a square aspect, Neptune can bring out grief or sadness or longing. So, Venus square Neptune there can be a sense of maybe longing for something to be different, or maybe grief or loss around relationship or love, or kind of like not having maybe what you desire. You might be seeing someone or something through rose-colored glasses and really kind of putting someone up on a pedestal. That's very Neptune, kind of like, seeing them in this beautiful light. There is a sense of wanting to escape with Venus square Neptune, and I would say escaping isn't always bad. Sometimes we gotta rest and escape from the world. Just make sure to do so in a healthy way. I mean, obviously do whatever you want, but Venus square Neptune can, be a little bit of overindulgence in a more negative way where you might be paying for the consequences later. So good day to relax, do something meditative, lose track of time. I know on this day, on Saturday the 9th, my friend Kelly and I are doing a loving kindness meditation practice that we're offering to a group of people. And so that feels very perfect for Venus square Neptune, because Neptune is planet about kind of like divine love and compassion, and Venus is also a planet about love. So something like that. That's kind of like a good activity for the day. Monday the 11th, Venus heads into Capricorn, where she'll be until December 6th. So she's bringing some sweetness and ease to your Capricorn house in your chart. Tuesday the 12th, Mercury makes a square to Saturn. Mercury is a planet about the mind, conversations, mental activities, learning. Saturn is discipline, hard work, limits, boundaries. So, it's not the easiest transit, Mercury square Saturn. You might have like a difficult conversation. You might get some feedback. You want to give feedback to someone. You might have a lot of mental work. You might feel a lot of mental pressure to study or learn something, or you have to do some arduous task. You might feel limited mentally. And I think this will be especially challenging because Mercury is in Sagittarius, a sign that doesn't want to be disciplined and doesn't want to focus on details or on arduous tasks. Like Mercury in Sagittarius wants to philosophize and play party tricks and have fun and imagine and write creative stories and things like that. So, I mean, it could be a good day for that kind of thing if, any sort of creative endeavor that requires some focus and work. I would say utilize the energy for that. Watch out for negative thinking. Saturn can be a little bit of a downer and can just indicate mental health struggles. So if you're someone who struggles with your mental health or with negative self-talk or negative thoughts, it's a good day to have your coping skills at the ready, challenge your thoughts, practice some loving kindness for yourself. Because we're maybe more prone for negative thinking and for depressive thoughts. So, okay, Friday the 15th, we have a full moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus. Full moons are already a little bit wild, right? The moon's, at a new moon, the moon is dark, things are quiet, more serene. And as the moon grows in light, so do things related to lunar things. So lunar things being emotions, dreams, things happening in the home, moon representing home and family, mothers, women, children. So with the full moon conjunct Uranus is a planet about unexpected changes and surprises and turnarounds of events, and kind of just like it's a wild card a little bit. So you might have some surprises on this day, on this full moon. You might have some big feelings because full moons will already kind of swell our emotions. So you might have like extra big feelings or feelings that surprise you. Something could be illuminated that was maybe hidden before. So something could be coming to full light. You might have like some creative ideas as well. Uranus is a planet about like where our genius is and kind of like innovation and progression and like spark of genius. So pay attention to what comes through on this day. You might have some good ideas. You might have some pretty wild ideas too. And then on Saturday, that's when the sun actually makes the exact opposition to Uranus, the sun in Scorpio opposite Uranus. So we're really going to feel this full moon energy for a couple days. And feel that kind of like back and forth, like wild, erratic, changing energy. Sleep could be more difficult around this full moon just because Uranus has that like erratic, like electric, like anxious kind of vibe. And then full moons also generally are like can be a little bit more difficult for sleep. So just something to watch out for is just taking extra good care of yourself, good care of your body. Taurus, where this full moon is happening, is a sign about the body and sensuality and the pleasures of the body and of the senses. So it could be a really lovely time to indulge a little bit more in those things, in the pleasures of the body and of the natural world. So yeah, I think it's going to be, well, who knows what it'll be. It could be really intense and wild and or it could be kind of like interesting and inventive and creative. So okay, that is really the astrology for the next 2 weeks. It's way less intense. We are kind of through part 1 of the intense astrology of the Mars opposite Pluto saga. Like I said, we're not done. 2 more chapters to go. And while it might be intense and difficult and bring up difficult things, it's really, I think, it can often be for the best. It could be like, oh, this situation needed to end, or this person needed to be confronted, or I really need to face this thing that I've been kind of not facing or I've been avoiding. Mars Pluto can be like, nope, we're facing it. We're kind of like at rock bottom. There's nowhere else to go but up. So we might as well kind of like dig out the rot that is there. If you're curious about how this astrology lands for you personally, please reach out. I'm open for consultations. The astrology is going to be different for everyone because everyone's chart is so unique. So the astrology might be really big or intense for some people and not for others. It really depends on like where your planets are, what houses are being highlighted, even like other timing techniques, which is like, what is your ruling planet of the year kind of thing. So there's a lot more nuance to this. I'm just giving kind of a general idea or kind of energy update with the astrology. But there's a lot more to it. So please reach out if you're interested in understanding more about how this is impacting you and how you can work with the energy. So I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks, and I will be back soon for another astrological update. Take care.